I graduated from UT Medical School, is what it was called back in my day. I attended from 1985 until 1989. I had always known I wanted to be a physician since I was very young, and was lucky enough to have gotten admitted here in Houston. And to say how did I hear about it, it's hard not to, because the Texas Medical Center is not only known locally where I grew up, but also internationally as well. In fact, I had no idea how big the medical center was until I left. I did leave for residency, and left afterwards for several years from Texas, but came back as fast as I could. And will tell you that all of my experiences outside of not just Texas, but outside of Houston, gave me even more of an appreciation of having gone to school here. Just because of its association and all of the opportunities that we have being part of such a huge institution. If I were going to start with all the names, I'd be here for a while. I will tell you that my strongest memories are the friendships. It's very difficult to talk about med school and not mention the very important connections that you make here. Not just your first year, but all your 4 years here. You start off with lab partners. You get to know people around your alphabet really well. We were put together by alphabet, and whether we were in lab groups or in gross anatomy groups, we got to know those folks really well our first couple years. In the third year, we got to know other folks in our class, and by the time we got through to our fourth year, we got to know a lot of the folks in our class, not just in our class, but the year ahead and the year behind. So those friendships aren't just formed within our class, they're formed outside. And also that network is real important that I know I've kept very close, and I think a lot of us have, even after medical school. Also important to realize that the friendships and the associations we had was with our faculty. We had superb faculty while we were here. I'm sure a lot of med schools feel they can say the same thing, but I feel especially privileged to have been part of a class where we had really exceptional faculty as well. We'll start with the LRC. The Learning Resource Center was tiny, and I don't recognize it now. It's huge, it's beautiful. Computers. We did not have, we did have computers. It wasn't that archaic. We were still ahead and had computers, but everything's more computerized now than when we were in medical school in the 80s. Medical records were electronic now, whereas back then there were paper, as I'm sure everybody knows. But really, other than that, other than the technology and the IT resources, like I said, the common thread through all of the last, I would say, 30 plus years now, has really been the people. And they seem to attract the people that we really have good connections here. So regardless of whether technology is here and how, it seems to attract just really top-notch faculty and top-notch students. It gave me a sense of that I could do more. It gave us a sense of more than purpose. And what I mean by that is that not only to excel in our specific specialty, but the folks that we worked with, that were our mentors, helped us to think more innovative, think more creatively, and think more ahead of what else we could do. And I always felt like it was a starting point, and that there was always more we could do. So the name has changed, and I think for a lot of us, we have acclimated to that. That's actually a very exciting change for the school, to McGovern. Other than the obvious with the name change, I think the size of the school, every time I come back here, I see a crane. There's new buildings. That's exciting. New buildings bring new faculty, new preceptorships, new opportunities for our students, and for just further research so that we can continue to drive healthcare in the right direction. I see this medical school being the leader in how healthcare needs to be done and performed around the country. 30 years ago, our class already had half the class female, and back then that was a big deal, and that's something that I've seen that they continue to bring in qualified folks, and that may just happen to be half the class, but I thought that was real important, and just to know that McGovern has always been ahead of that curve, which I think is kudos to them over 50 years, that's been something that they've also been a leader in, is that level of diversity across the board. The other part, to add to the friendships and the opportunities and the experiences and the faculty, I think the other part is leadership in the community. We're always given the opportunity to take our skills and work in different communities, and I think that's an extra part of what we should be focused on. My daughter attends medical school here at McGovern. She's a first-year medical student. She told us, me and her father, who are both graduates from this medical school, that she always admired what we did for a living, not just our profession, but how much we enjoyed it. And she wanted that sense of accomplishment, but also enjoyment, and always aspired to not just go to medical school, but to this medical school. This was not just her first choice. I think it was her first, second, and third choice, or could have been, but we did not sway her, or it was totally her choice, and because she had choices. So it was it's encouraging to see that, but I don't think that's unique. I know that there are other folks that have their children who also end up coming here, and I think that's a testament to how much we not only enjoy what we do, but also how much our kids see that sense of accomplishment. One of the things I think is important is that after we graduate from medical school and get into our careers, is giving back. And giving back, what I mean by that is being a part of not only the medical school, but the Alumni Association. And it was important for me to not only be part of the association as a member, but as a board member, and to help the school continue in its journey with not just the current medical students, but also incoming, to support them. To give them the kind of support that I know we felt when we were going through medical school.